You're about to see a community dialogue about bullying. The conversation was built around the film Bully Fighters, produced by Jupiter Makins and Patricia McKenzie. The film tells the story of two teenagers who were plagued by bullying at their school. The story follows a passionate lawyer who tries to change perceptions about bullying. What follows are clips from the film, interviews with filmmakers, and comments from a panel discussion of community education leaders here in Dare County.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty bad. Oh, excuse us. Why did you run that? Look at you. Why are you in our loft? You're such a dork. Oh, are you sad that he's there? Cry, baby. Cry, baby. Cry, baby.
Such an idiot.
Where are all your friends now? No one's gonna help you. We got no friends. Keep it up. No friends.
It's not just something that the schools need to look at, and I know that it happens a lot in schools, but it happens a lot outside of it too, and with cyberbullying even more so. So it needs to be something that the community gets involved in, and businesses or people outside of schools.
Bullying will be called something else. It's never actually, the term bullying is rarely ever used. Some of the terms that we hear in business is there's Jeff. He just has underdeveloped social skills, or he's misunderstood, or she is just maturing. Never gets to the point of the bullying, and I would suggest that that's one of the things that should be stressed in the community much more.
Most films on bullying are documentaries, and just as a writer who loves to write fiction stories, I believe that a lot of documentaries, it's about them. It's their story, and this is what happened to them. So when you watch it, you have sympathy, and you leave the theater and think, oh, I feel sorry for that person, or that's too bad, or it's sad. Whereas a fictional film brings you inside and makes you the character. So when you're done watching the film, it happened to you. So you have empathy towards the cause, and when you leave, you want to do something about it, and you ask yourself those questions: what can I do to make change?
Randy Cullen? Gordon Rover.
Where's my mama?
She'll be here soon.
Are you my lawyer?
Yes.
Am I going to jail?
Yes. But we'll get you the minimum sentence. This is your first offense. You're good in school, never caused problems.
What about the ones who did?
Did what?
Cause problems. Cause this. What do they get?
We'll wait for your mom to get here. She's getting picked up from work. Would you like a soda?
Jupiter came back from a seminar in California where I live, but I wasn't able to attend, and told me she had met this incredible man named Bobby Kipper, who heads the National Center for Prevention of Community Violence. They had talked about our film, Bully Fighters, and had gotten very excited together about the potential to use Bully Fighters, the film, as a catalyst for a movement to solve violence in the community and get people talking.
We were so ingrained throughout the years with it being defiance and disrespect, whether it was to each other as ourselves in school, or whether it was to the adult figures that we were in contact with. What has happened is, I think the defiance and disrespect has risen to another level. And because of that, I think what you're seeing is the fact of it has gone past the defiance and disrespect and gone into the harassment and bullying. And what we are trying to do as a educational community as such is try to make sure that we're catching up with those ideas of harassment and bullying and not just keeping it as disrespect and defiance. In our original codes of conduct, harassment and bullying did not exist. In our code of conducts today, our school board and our superintendent is astute enough to make sure that they understand and present to us what we need as tools to deal with harassment and bullying, and not just the idea of defiance and disrespect.
These are all such excellent points. I'm learning a lot as I go. I'd just like to submit one anecdotal evidence. We did a lot of interviews off camera, people who had been bullied, kids who had been bullied, adults. People didn't report it. They didn't talk about it. They thought it would make it worse. We found that's been a big issue. So one of our goals would be to change the culture around it, where the person who's bullied feels empowered enough that the community knows that this is wrong. I mean, if someone robbed you, you wouldn't feel like having to hide that. Why do we have to hide being bullied, abused, harassed? Why would that make it worse?
Sorry, the door was open.
No, it wasn't.
It was more closed than open. I'm not taking new clients.
You Regina Shore?
Wrong office.
It says your name on the door.
I'm still not taking new clients.
Please, Miss Shore, I need your help.
What makes you think I can help you?
You won the Karaman case. You went against the state and won.
That was a lifetime ago. So if you'll excuse me, busy.
Please, Miss Shore, I need your help. I desperately need your help. My name is Amy Cullen. My son is Randy Cullen.
Yeah, I know who he is. His case is in the news. You have a lawyer.
Appointed by the state because I couldn't afford a lawyer. But I'm not talking about defending him. I need a lawyer who fights. I want to go after those kids. I can't pay you much, but I will make payments out of every paycheck I get for the rest of my life if you just help me and my boy get justice. I swear it.
I can't. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I can't.
My boy is going to jail. He's a good boy. He's not a criminal. And those who are will be free. It's not right. What they put my son and Eve through wasn't fair. It's not fair. My son couldn't get away. He was bullied at school, and cyberbullying followed him everywhere. Why is he being held accountable for his actions and everyone else is getting slapped on the wrist? I came to you, Miss Shore, because you're the only lawyer in the state of California who's actually brave enough to cross lines that should be erased. And I've heard you're one of those rare attorneys who actually fights for justice.
I wish I could. I can't. I don't do trial law anymore. I have an obligation to clients that I already have. I'm up to my eyeballs in paralegal junk. I'm extremely busy. I'm not taking new clients right now. And there's a dozen other lawyers down the hall who would be thrilled for the opportunity to make the news. If you'll excuse me, Miss Cullen, I have to get back to work. Just please close the door tight on your way out. I was privileged enough as an actress to be able to play Reggie Shore in the film Bully Fighters. I would play a role in any film that Jupiter creates and get to say statements that just have a ripple effect after the fact in the community. One of the things that my character, Reggie Shore, says in the film is that we have a chance to make or not make change. And I feel emotional even now as I say it, because there's so much truth to that.
How is it that we allow young people to get away with criminal acts? You put a husband and wife in the same house together. If any of those same crimes are inflicted, what happens? He is charged. He is removed from the house. What happens to the abused and battered child at school? We label it bullying, we soften it with misconduct, and nothing is done to protect him. No real laws, no consequences for teachers or principals or schools for not having measures in place to stop bullying before a daughter takes her life or a son goes to jail. Why? Because the bully's also a child, and we're too afraid to ruin his life by placing him behind bars? What does it say? It says that it's okay to prey on the weak. It's okay for a child to ruin another child's life, but God forbid the law steps in to do what the law is supposed to do, govern behavior.
Do you see what these charges are causing?
Change. You see those picketers down there, Princeton? And look at them. On the one side, you have the relatives of the 3 kids. On the other side, you have all these people. Some of them have been bullied. Some of them have loved ones who've been bullied. They don't even know Randy Cullen and Evelyn Lee. They are people who are asking for our help. All I'm asking is for a jury. And let the people decide. We have a chance to make or not make change.
I have a unique perspective because I finished last year at First Flight High School, where Rachel's Challenge was launched. And I'm very fortunate now to be at Manio Middle School, where Rachel's Challenge is cemented in the environment and cemented in our school, which is great because if you think about it, that's from 6th grade to 12th grade. That's a huge population of kids. You're talking about anywhere from 11-year-olds to 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You would not believe the power that Rachel's Challenge has provided kids and schools. I've had more comments shared with me, and I've seen it, about this is the greatest thing that our kids have been able to participate in. I think it starts with having people who truly believe in it, who lead that charge. And I know at Manio Middle School, our counseling department, and specifically our counselor, she's very passionate about it. She's sitting in the back, and I'm bragging on her right now. But she's done an incredible job, and kids are excited to be part of it. You see it's a culture change. And a lot of times changing culture, it's a momentum. You have to stop the momentum and lead it in the right direction. And I think slowly but surely you're starting to see that momentum. Kids feel comfortable talking to counselors about what's going on, not necessarily with themselves, just as much as what is happening with kids around them. And it's extremely powerful. And I think I can speak for First Flight High School and Manio Middle School. We're seeing true dividends being paid off by a cultural shift led by people who are very passionate about it and lead the charge to work with our kids.
What I want to accomplish through the film is to inspire the conversation first and foremost, because I believe that when we're talking about it, it's the first step to doing something about it. And I didn't want to just inspire, I wanted to compel people into action. I wanted the film to be so powerful that everyone wants to get up and do something or ask, how can I help? So it doesn't end after the film's done and everybody leaves the theater. It continues when they go home and they're talking about it at home and asking what I can do and looking for ways to help, and realizing how it's in so many people's lives and the people's lives around them, or it may even be their life.
A lot of kids who are bullying are only learning from what they are seeing, what they see. So I think that's just the best way that we can kind of understand what the bullying's coming from and why they're being bullied.
I think that you have to have in your organization, your community, your school, your workplace, people that are willing to listen, and that the employees, the students, the faculty know that there are places that they can go when they feel that they are having a problem.
I think we need to understand also that none of us separately are experts in any of this, and we're fortunate enough that we have not only tremendous valuable resources within our schools with our exceptional children's programs and our resource programs, but we have exceptional community resources as well. As administrators in the building, we would be foolish to think that we could handle these situations and problems ourselves. And so we surround ourselves with individuals that are the experts in dealing with this, and then we use them to our benefit. And those experts that are in the building, such as Carrie and our guidance counselors, they know when it's time to contact outside resources, and Dare County has a tremendous amount of valuable resources that we can use to help with these problems that exist. So please do not hesitate in these situations or circumstances to come and let us know. And if the school itself can't solve the problem, so to speak, we can definitely point you in the right direction or work with our resources to help get pointed in the right direction.
I think that a key thing, and I was so glad to hear that here in the Outer Banks they're doing Rachel's Challenge, because that's a wonderful program. But a key thing, and I said this before, is having people available so that when a child wants to tell, there's somebody to hear it. And then secondly, yes, we need to look at laws, we need to look at all that, but we need strategies for adults then to work with that child so they can handle what's happening to them, because ultimately that's where it's going to fall. But please, if you hear anything I say, hear that there are hundreds of children who go home to nothing every day. It is not 5 or 6, it is not 10 or 20. It is hundreds in many schools. And it's horrible, but if somebody in that building is not there to hear when they're ready to reach out, then that child becomes a problem and continues that on into adulthood.
I don't think there's any question that we're always 1 or 2 steps behind in what we're doing with regards to this. Mm-hmm. I can't sit here and honestly say we're ahead of the game, because we're not. But we have many ways, such as Rachel's Challenge and other things. We have our school website goes into great detail with regards to bullying. Usually when I say our school system website goes into some great detail with regards to the communication piece, the bullying and harassment piece. Each of our school websites individually have pieces with regards to that. When you talk about communication with parents, through our open houses, these types of things, when we do communicate with parents, whether they're parent-teacher conferences or conferences with our guidance counselors, we're also trying to communicate with them. Again, I can't say that we're ahead of the game. I think we're doing everything in our power to communicate with the parents and let them know exactly what is going on. If we have a situation that we are aware of, the first thing we do is to make sure that the parent is communicated with, and as far as what's going on, the device that might be used, the information that's being assimilated, and this type of thing as well.
The two thumbs are the most brave part of our bodies now, because it's easy to text and hit send, and whatever you send, typically if the person were not there, you would never say or do anything like that. But because it's so easy, and like you said, there's no face to it, you can just text and send, and you do not realize the hurt and the pain that you cause people. I think, to say a couple of things first, I think it's really important for us to monitor our children's social media. Social media is, I think Facebook would be the 3rd largest country in the world if you put everyone who's on Facebook in a country. Snapchat, to me, personally, that's scary in itself, that you can send something and it just disappears. I think we're dealing with a lot more issues with things on social media, whether it's cyberbullying or whether it's just misuse of social media. So I think it's very important as a community. Number one, I don't know how many of you tweet. I don't know how many of you have accounts such as Facebook, Snapchat, those types of things. But if you don't, you need to learn about it, especially if you have kids who are on it. And I love to hear parents when they say, well, my child has a Snapchat account, but they have to friend me because I monitor everything that they do. I think it's very important as a community that we help our children navigate that as well, because it is something that they have to learn. Now, what can we do about it? Number one, education. I think that's the number one thing. Number two, just because it happens outside of school doesn't mean that it doesn't cause problems inside school. So we have clear policy that allows us to work through those things. And I think most importantly is having children feel comfortable coming to us to talk to us about those issues. And it goes back to Rachel's challenge. It goes back to so many things. It's about positive relationships with kids where they feel comfortable talking with us. And once you get to that point where they can say, here's what's going on. Can I show you what's been sent to me on my Instagram? Then we can deal with it. We can deal with it that way.
I would say the power of the film is that it inspires the audience to make or not make change. It inspires the audience to think. It puts them in the jury box. It doesn't dictate to you the answers. It begs the question, what do we do as a community?
Now it's up to you to continue this important conversation on bullying. How will you respond? It is my hope that you will get more information, get involved, or at least continue the conversation. You heard in the discussion the mention of Rachel's Challenge, a program that is ingrained into the fabric of Dare County schools. Rachel Scott was the first student murdered in the Columbine High School massacre. Her father, Darrell Scott, co-founded the organization to free schools from harassment, bullying, and violence. For more information on Rachel's Challenge, go to rachelschallenge.org or call 1-877-895-7060. I'd also like to invite you to go to our website to find out more about the work we do related to community violence. We have a nationally recognized program called Green Zone that is a tangible, measurable way to identify behavior and promote positive interaction and overall environment. You can find more information about Green Zone at our organization, the National Center for the Prevention of Community Violence, at solveviolence.com on the web. For more information about bullying and how to stop it, go to stopbullying.gov. There you will find helpful resources and learn more about bullying, including cyberbullying. Remember to make a decision to learn more, get involved, or continue the conversation and help stop bullying in our communities. Thank you for watching.